How's that? Does that work?
Yeah, it wasn't your end. It was, like George Costanza. It's not you, it's me.
Oh. Right.
Thank you for doing this. It really means a lot to me.
Well, thank you. Gosh, and Freddie, I just heard one of your songs, which I love so much, the "Live My Truth."
Oh, bro, how did you find that?
That is so. I was just looking at you and looking what stuff you've done and stuff, and then I put that song on, and it's so great because it is true, and it's perfectly so. And that your choices are so great. They're real. They're you. They're alive. All of these references. It's just beautiful, beautiful work.
You're blowing my mind, bro.
Oh,
I appreciate that. Well, let's do this thing, and then we can compliment each other in a minute. Okay.
Okay. No worries.
All right. This is who we call Magic Marcia. She's a wonderful lady here in Nashville.
Welcome to Count It Off with your host, Jeff Dayton, where we explore the world of music through the eyes of some fascinating guests. So get tuned up and let's count it off.
Let's count it off. Jeff Dayton here in Nashville, Tennessee, with an extra special guest this episode. Count It Off presents Mr. David Pomeranz, all the way from Los Angeles. Hey, David.
Hello, Jeff. How you doing, my friend?
I am doing just right. As my friend down in Key West says, I'm doing just right. Upright and breathing, Glenn Campbell said. He says that was a real good start. So thanks for being on the show. You've got a busy schedule coming up, don't you? You're getting ready to launch a Canadian tour?
Yes. I've never figured why the place isn't called Canada, though.
Canada.
Given that people live there are Canadians, it doesn't make sense to me.
Or instead of Canadan? Yeah.
Right. They're Canadans.
Well, because they can. So there they go. Well,
yes, they can.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm going to go off and do a few dates up there.
That's great, man. You are having. One lady said to me, "Boy, you've had a great career." I said, "Had." I'm still having.
Yeah, really. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, really. I was on a few episodes of Hawaii Five-0, and they said, "Were you on the original show with Jack Lord?" I said, "How old do you think I am?" Not even, but I was the newer show. Well, David, I wanted to just let people know a little bit about you, and I'm going to borrow from your website, if you don't mind. For over 4 decades, Platinum Award-winning David Pomeranz, multi-Platinum Award-winning David Pomeranz, has captivated hearts across the globe with his unforgettable melodies, heartfelt lyrics, and timeless voice. From chart-topping hits like Trying to Get the Feeling Again, Born for You, Got to Believe in Magic, The Old Songs, and On This Day. He's written songs for Barry Manilow, Missy Elliott, The Carpenters, Kenny Rogers, Bette Midler, Freddie, Mercury, they're saying something, and more. So this is fun to have you on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about your life. I wrote a couple of notes, which I never do, but I didn't want to be unprepared for you. So you grew up on Long Island, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And what was your first inspiration? I mean, every musician, I love asking, what was your first real buzz? What got you going?
There's an actual moment. It's true. Well, first of all, my parents were always playing music in the house, but very eclectic. I mean, because my mom, when she got married, was like 18, and so she was singing rock and roll. She was playing rock and roll when I was a kid. And then Dave Brubeck, and my dad loved Tchaikovsky, and then Frank Sinatra, and la la la, and just a whole eclectic bunch. And the moment that I connected with it for real was when I was 5 or maybe 6, and I was sitting on the den floor and listened to the original cast album of West Side Story, and hearing that music and even those lyrics, whether I understood them or not, the way they kind of fell on the music, I just couldn't believe it. Wow. It's actually a religious experience, and I knew there was nothing else. There was nothing else in life, Yeah. So that's what happened.
Was there an instrument in the house you could grab now that you had this buzz going on?
No, well, piano. My mom played the piano, and I kind of would mimic her a little bit. See, I guess you could say that.
All right. Did you have any kind of lessons to get you going, or were you just driven to go over there and find it?
I kind of found it, and I had maybe 6 months of lessons that I never practiced for, and and hated. And so I guess the answer is not really.
I have that trophy too.
But, yeah, I don't know. And then as I went on, you'll probably relate to, I don't know if you will relate to this, but, I thought, because my heroes, my pop heroes were people who either couldn't read music or weren't trained. And so, and from Paul McCartney and those and Joni Mitchell and those kids. And I thought, why should I might ruin myself if I train too much.
I hear you. So, Glenn Campbell, I worked with Glenn for many years, and he used to say,
"Oh my God,"
he said, "I don't read enough music to hurt my playing."
There you go. That's amazing.
Yeah, another guy.
For that guy, boy, could he play. Holy crap.
Yeah, the whole world came around with their hat in their hand when Glenn was in house. It was just that way. And so much respect from the Hall of Famers. I mean, people that were already famous were coming around going, "Oh, Glenn Campbell." I remember running into Ray Charles and Etta James and all these people, Coco Taylor, and that all were just like, "Oh man, it's Glenn Campbell," and Anne Murray. But he had that perfect trifecta of play, sing, entertain. And you've got that.
That's true.
I mean, you're a tremendous entertainer and a great writer and a great singer. And look what you've done from that religious experience you had.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's interesting. It's interesting you say Glenn Campbell, and it's funny because I get an image of the music that he plays. I mean, obviously we love his voice and his choices and God knows the charm is off the charts. He's just a wonderful, gorgeous person, but his playing is very rich and very melodic, even when he's right. I mean, I just remember hearing, because I didn't always know how deep a studio musician he was until later on, and then hearing him play, and I thought, wow, he's so musical. He's not just riffing. He's just so beautiful in what he's playing.
Wow. So
I can see that he would have that kind of adulation from the Hall of Famers. That makes total sense.
Well, this seems like a good spot to drop in a little Glenn Campbell. Reading your bio, I found out you had a cut with Glenn. That's what we say in songwriting world. When you get a cut with somebody, that means they cut your song. And
they did.
The Old Hometown. Let's check it out. This is a little David Pomeranz music and Glenn Campbell.
Oh, cool.
Not a bad demo singer. We should have talked over the intro.
Oh, you're so sweet to come home to. You're just like an old hometown. What a welcome relief from this daily run around. I wanna hold you, love you forever. I wanna kiss you up and down. Oh, you're so sweet to come home to. You're just like an old hometown.
That is beautiful, David.
Each working day.
We could spend 2 hours just playing your music for everybody, and I think we should. But tell us about that song and how it came about.
Oh, thank you. I love that song.
Yeah.
I was in, where was I? Carmel, California or something. I don't know. I was just writing music for a new album of my own. And that song came to me. I was sitting in a hot tub or something. I don't know. The most unlikely, right? I mean, as a writer, these things come to you. Doesn't make any sense, But that came in Northern California. That one.
Nice.
I like that one. Yeah, that's a good song.
I came across a quote in reading about you that says that he writes songs that move people. I would say, from what I'm looking at and what I'm hearing, that is absolutely true. And do you have that in your mind when you're sitting down to write, or it's just second nature, I guess, by now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, again, I'd assume it's probably so for you. I'm sure it's so for you, in fact, hearing your music. The idea of moving myself, I'm not writing just for myself, but I kind of know when I'm hitting the mark, or I know when I'm being artificial. I can go both ways. It's like, I got to write this. It's got to be a good song. Got to be a great song. And then I start to get artificial and put songwriter sounding things in there, and I stop feeling something. So I guess my acid test is like whether or not I go whoopee, while I'm doing it, or at any point. It's like, yeah, there it is. Oh yeah, and I literally will get chills or not.
I love hearing that from you. That's tremendous, because so many writers sit down and I remember Alan Shamblin, who's enormous in Nashville, and he said, "What you going to rhyme with? Love today, love today." It's just sort of that goofy Nashville thing. But I'd much rather write something that means something to me and moves me, as you just said, than write a bunch of cotton candy. And I've written plenty of cotton candy, and I've written some really awful songs. I have the trophies to prove it.
That's funny.
Well, it is.
Well, yes.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true. It's true. I mean, I've had a few things too where there was one song that I won't say what it is because there are people that like it, but I co-wrote it with somebody, and he said, "This is good," and I said, "You know what? This is garbage. This is just garbage. Throw it out." And he said, No, save it. And it turned out to have been a pretty big hit by somebody.
Oh my!
And people like it, and they come up to me and say, "Oh, that song, rah rah rah," and I always have that sinking feeling. It's like, oh yeah, thanks, thanks a lot.
I wrote that. Didn't I? Oh, yes,
I look down at the ground and
pull the hat down over your eyes. Okay.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, exactly. And I don't have a hat, but I pull it down anyway.
Yeah. Well, I wear a hat just to cut the glare on TV. So.
There you go. You know what's funny? Can I tell you something really funny?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the guys like. I mean, I love all kinds of music, big Broadway guys, but lyricists especially intrigue me. Yeah. So Alan J. Lerner, who wrote, My Fair Lady, and Sweet Street Where You Live, all these songs that we all go crazy for. Yeah. Anyway, and he talks about it, and also Sondheim. He wrote the lyrics to West Side Story, and he famously says, "I feel pretty, oh so pretty." You know that song?
Yes.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty. I feel pretty and witty and wise. Yeah. Right. And he was 25 when he wrote that. And to his dying day, people say, I love that song. And he goes, yeah, but that character would never sing those words. I missed it by a mile. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Because she's a poor, she's a street girl, and not a street girl like a hooker, but she's a streetwise young girl would never sing that way. So even those greats, they know what they know, the times that they made it and times that they missed it in their own estimation. Funny.
That's why, songwriters aren't in charge of their own A&R department, because sometimes
that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, tell us about the band. The first band you joined, it sounds like it was the first band you joined. It morphed into a group called Pure Prairie League. Tell us about that.
It did. I had nothing to do with the morph, except for the fact that before it was Pure Prairie League, I was the lead singer. And it was a band in Cincinnati called the East Orange Express, and I was in college, and we played, Vanilla Fudge tunes and Beatles
Set
stuff.
Set me free,
whatever.
why don't you, babe?
Don't you, babe?
We love those guys.
Me too. I love that band. But and Procol Harum and stuff. Yep. And but then after I left, I guess it was Vince Gill that came in, and or at some point, Vince Gill, or I forgot the other guy's name, the other famous singer's name who came in there, and then they started they recorded, Amy, and who was the guy that was on Amy? Do you remember his name?
That's what I'm
Craig.
trying to remember.
Someone. Craig.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. I've got a friend here in town named Jeff Zona. He says, I'm the 55th lead singer in Pure Prairie League.
Oh, boy. But the band, East Orange Express, the drummer and the bass player and the keyboard player was East Orange Express when they became Pure Prairie League. So Mike Riley and the drummer whose name I can't remember. Yeah, crazy. But that band that we did in Cincinnati was the band with different singers.
That's great.
Yeah.
Glenn would say, "I'd never forget old what's his name."
Right.
You got yourself a record deal at age 19. How did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to make records. And so I'm from New York. So I got a manager who shopped me around. Hey, do you remember Leslie Gore?
Sure. It's My Party.
Leslie Gore. It's my party. You got it, right? And you don't own me. All those cool songs. Anyway, she was my first manager. I was 16 at the time. And she and her brother managed me for, I don't know, a few months because she was so busy herself, la, la, la. And from there, I just was writing songs, played them for my parents, you know. And then when I had enough, so I got a proper manager in New York, and he took me in to see Decca Records. And I did the unthinkable. I brought my guitar. The guy did not expect it. He was thinking he wants a tape, you know. And he brings the kid in, and I played the guitar, and he liked it, and I got my first deal.
Man, you know, those types of things, unless you have somebody to open that door for you, these days are so hard to get. And here in Nashville, well, you know, we've talked about it with many, many artists that have been on the show. You know, we get a lot of the young hopefuls and some of the ones who are already there, you know, having #1 records, but we all concur that, man, the doors are tighter than ever. And unless you're part of the camp or somehow you get lucky, it's really tough to be able to walk into an office, you know. Back in the early 80s when I first started coming here, before I lived here, and, you know, I'd call up somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm awful busy, man. Why don't you come by about 5 minutes before lunch and we can spend 5 minutes." And then hour and a half later, we're still talking. He goes, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?" I mean, those days.
God, oh man.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough.
Well, yeah, it's probably equally tough for them too. I mean, you know, because they kind of, I guess the A&R guys, they, I guess a lot of them live for it. You know, they want to make music, find people. They want to be blown away, you know. But I guess, so what is it? Is it that there's too many wanting to get in?
Well, how many episodes of Idol have we had now? 25, maybe? Close to it. And how many of The Voice? And I mean, just on and on and on. And I think what that promotes and kind of, you know, in a sense, it seeds the thought that you can get on a TV show, you can win a contest, and then you can have a huge career. And if you stop and think about all the people that were on those shows that aren't doing music anymore, I don't know if the reality is there, but I'm just reaching for it. You know, there's a huge kind of a difference between being handed a diamond encrusted microphone and making a lifetime career like you have, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think, although a lot of the guys on The Voice are incredibly accomplished, I'm always, I'm lately in the last, I don't generally look at it, but when I do, I'm going, wow, you know, that person's actually prepared. You know, that person could just walk onto a big stage and deliver. And that wasn't always the case. Like in the early days of American Idol and such, everyone was posing, right? The girls would like handle a microphone like Mariah Carey or something. You know, they'd kind of twiddle the microphone. I mean, there's a move. And I'm going, you know, stop that. You know, just sing, you know, sing, communicate, sing. Yeah. And don't pose. But now I think it's and I don't know where they're getting trained, unless it's in bars or at school or I don't know. Well, where did you start? I mean, how did you get going?
Oh, I'm a guest on my own show. I had that same thing. I mean, my mom had a huge record collection, everything from the Kingston Trio to Caribbean music to Dixieland. Yeah. We had Johnny Dodds and the Washboard Rhythm Kings, and we had Sam Cooke, and we had we had all the the Fantastics, and we had And I was a classical fan too. I mean, I studied cello in college, and I, played for years until I got drummed out of a very big audition. But, I had the burning desire to do it, and I just did it in spite of not knowing how bad I really was. And I paid no attention to whether or not I was, I just kept trying and trying and trying and trying. And I would start listening to myself. Once I started recording, that's when I really kind of focused in more. And every time I'd get in front of a microphone, I'd try to remember what I learned last time. Not that there was a list, but just trying to deliver something that would move me. And I've learned, especially from the years of working with Glenn, who could phrase like nobody's business, that he could take a song like By the Time I Get to Phoenix, which everybody thinks is, okay, it's 3 verses, it's all the same thing in the verse. It just lays there flat as water on a plate. But it isn't. He would take the slightest thing and morph it or do something special with it, and every show, the hair on my arms would just jump up. And I try to remember that phrasing thing, that take the freedom to say it a new way. And I'm still doing that with my songs. I'm still trying to find something really special. And then what I'm noticing now is, and this is a long-term learning process, is that audiences respond. And
yes, they do.
That's the thing I'm looking for.
Well, sure. I mean, they know when it's genuine. They know when you're actually communicating, when you mean something. It's like good sex and bad sex, really, isn't it? I mean, it's a little like, is this, I want you to know this. I want you to know that I love you, or I want you to know that the world is silly, or whatever it is. I want you to know, and you put it there, and then they go, oh, I get it. Otherwise, but if you, but anyway, one more question about you too. So then where did you feel the microphone? Where did you start? Where are you from, by the way?
I grew up in Minneapolis area, Lake Minnetonka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If you're ever up in that area, holler at me. I'll hook you up with a vintage wood boat ride on Lake Minnetonka. We get some collectors up there. And the question again, I'm sorry, I kind of...
But how did you, in other words, we were talking about like how the voice guys, where do they train? How did they get there? I know was it clubs for you, or was it school, or what? Where did you? So that's where you performed in front of people.
I everywhere, and I played in bars forever. We played in these little, country corn town dance halls, and there was beer and setups, and we'd play. I was, the utility guy, played guitar and steel and sang, and we'd do country for 3 sets, and then the last hour we'd really kick it into high gear with some 50s, and learning to sing, enduring singers singing "Leave Me Alone, Why Don't You Leave Me Alone, oh, Leave Me Alone." And I'm just going, we're doing that song again, aren't we? But I think the whole thing, fast forward to the Idol and the voice thing, is that I think we've raised the bar as a community of music people to recognize that you can't just come in with pants on the ground. You've got to really bring something to go anywhere in these shows. And the shows, in a sense, are example of the real business. I mean, I've seen people who have been on the show and done really well, and then when it comes time to going past that, it's like, now what?
Right, that's true.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about you, because I'm enjoying talking about me, but I want to talk about you. Our guest,
and that's a good song. I want to talk about me.
Yes, Toby. God bless him. I played with him for a little bit. I got to be in. I was in one of his videos. Oh. Yeah, he was, and actually backed him up a little bit. This is David Pomeranz, "Born for You." Let's hear some of this.
Billion people running around the planet. What is the chance in heaven that you'd find your way to me? Tell me, what is the sweet sensation? It's a miracle that's happened. Though I searched for an explanation, only one thing it could be, that I was born for you. It was written in the stars, yes, I was born for you. And the choice was never ours. It's as if the powers of the universe conspire to make you mine. Until the day I die, I bless the day that I was born for you.
David Pomeranz music. Great lyrics, my friend. Golly.
Thank you very much. You know, I must say, I wrote the music. The lyrics were written by David Zippel, who is a master songwriter too. So, I mean, I love that song.
That's a great song.
David did a beautiful lyric.
Are you playing keys on that, or was that a studio thing?
Yeah, no, that's me. Yeah.
Sounds great, man. I'm sure there's a gig for you somewhere. There's a band looking for a good keyboard player. I love that sound too. And you know, I'm guilty of loving the old stuff. I mean, I don't care if it's a Rhodes morphed with a DX7 or whatever it is. It's just like, let's bring it.
Oh my God, DX7.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's fun. You've had some other experiences with your songs, or the songs found the shows or whatever, but two of my favorite placements that you've had, we call that in the music placements, we get your songs exploited by a publisher. It's kind of the way they're really supposed to do, is get your songs out there. But you had a song in the movie Big, which is one of my favorite movies, with Tom Hanks and Elizabeth Perkins. And talk about how that happened.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, I wrote a song called "It's in Every One of Us," and I recorded it on an album I did for Arista. And Penny Marshall, who was the director of Big, loved the song, and she wanted me to sing it in the movie. And the producer, who's James Brooks, the famous James Brooks, who did Terms of Endearment and those wonderful movies, as producer, he just wanted me to play it on the piano with an orchestra, which was fine with me. And
no kidding.
So so that's how it wound up in the picture. It was not me singing the song in the picture, but it was the melody where Tom Hanks' character goes back and reviews his childhood. He walks through his old school, and there's that melody playing through. So that was a really wonderful experience for me.
No kidding. How about Boston Legal? That was one of my favorite shows. Of course,
me too.
William Shatner, Spader was in that, right? Isn't that the one?
Yeah.
James Spader. Shai McBride was in that. And I actually was on an episode or two of Hawaii Five-0 with him. That was fun.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. But not the original with Jack Lord. So how did Boston...
Let's get that straight.
Yeah, right. How did Boston Legal happen?
Oh, well, that was just happenstance. And I think what they did was they used I wrote Trying to Get the Feeling Again for Barry Manilow. Right? And I think they just used it in the show. I didn't write it for the show.
Okay.
They used the recording.
That's all right with you, I bet.
Yeah, well, sure. I mean, it's lovely to see, and you see it underneath the scene, and in an improbable way. Improbable, unprobable. Which one is it?
Hardly likely.
Improbable. Hardly likely way, and there it is. And it's cool. It's always cool.
Oh man, Little My Music ended up on Hawaii Five-0, and for folks who don't know, that pays. Television network, especially network television. We can talk about that in a future episode, but I'll try to talk to somebody. Tracy and Vance out in San Diego have had, I think, over 2,000 placements now. That they're just rocking along, doing great. That's another world. Well, you brought up the B word, which is Barry Manilow, and God bless him and his health struggles right now. We're all praying for him.
Yeah.
How did you meet Barry, and how did that start out?
Well, we were on the same label on Arista, and Clive Davis, the president. Oh, I can tell you some funny stories.
Please do.
Now or later. But,
Please do.
But anyway, no, it's interesting because that whole era in the 70s, Clive would hold court at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And a few of us were allowed in there. And what he would do is he'd play new songs from his artists, new releases, not having yet been released. And he would survey the people in the room. What do you think? And which was lovely. It was great. It was good people in the room. And then I remember he put on Brandy, or Brandy was the original title of Manilow's song, Mandy. Mm-hmm. Right? It was called Brandy. Right?
I heard that.
Written by Scott English from England, and Richard Kerr, I think. But anyway, that was where I first heard about Barry. And then, he got his thing together, released Mandy, kabang, right? And then
huge.
I put my album out, and on it was Trying to Get the Feeling. But before it came out, the demo tape went to Bette Midler. And before that, real quickly, it went to the Carpenters, because they actually wrote it for the Carpenters.
Wow.
And they didn't respond right away. It turned out that Karen Carpenter did record it, but when Barry came out with the big hit, I guess they held it back until there was a posthumous release of the song later on.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, when the Carpenters didn't reply right away, Warner Music got the demo tape to Bette Midler. Bette was being produced by Barry Manilow, and he heard the song. And that's how it happened. Man. It's crazy how these things happen. Right?
So he snatched it before she could do it, huh?
Yes. Well, he asked her, "Can I?" And she said, "Yeah, go ahead."
I love stories like that. There's a couple of good ones that Glenn told me over the years, and he had recorded a song. I won't tell you the title just yet, but his producer was Jerry Fuller, who wrote "Traveling Man."
Oh, sure.
And 18-year-old phenomenon. Suddenly, he's now a monster producer. Jerry called Glenn about a week later after they did the song, and he said, "Hey, Glenn, you know that song we did last week?" He said, "I'd like to get that back from you if you don't mind. I've got a new group, and I think it'd work for them." And it was Woman, Whoa. It was
oh man,
Gary Puckett and the Union.
Gary Puckett, yeah.
Yeah, and so it got detoured to Gary Puckett. And my late friend Jimmy Payne wrote that, and he was the sweetest guy on earth. So he ended up with a Glenn Campbell cut and a Gary Puckett cut all in the same 2 weeks, He just thought that.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Glenn.
And did Glenn finally did release it?
Yeah,
later on,
of course. He loved it. But when Jerry asked him, could he have the song back, Glenn said, "Yeah, there's lots of good songs. Don't worry about it." And he would hang on to a song. I mean, when he put out The Highwayman in the late 70s, it was the title track for an album, but Capitol wouldn't go for it, So Glenn said, "I'm not going for Capitol." And some time later, the guys got together, Waylon and Willie and Johnny Cash and Chris.
Oh, right.
And Glenn said, "I've got the perfect song. It's got 4 verses. Jimmy Webb wrote it, and I'll even come in the studio and show you guys how it goes." And so he kept songs. I mean, he had a vault. Glenn would pocket things like that. He had a song of mine. He says, "I'm going to record this." And this week, let's go.
Wow.
Yeah. So I love it how songs have their own legs, and you've done that. Have you had other songs with Barry since that one?
Yeah, we did one. It's called The Old Songs.
I remember that.
Maybe the old songs will bring back the old times. That one.
Yeah.
And I wrote that with Buddy K. Buddy K.
Wonderful. You know what I'm hearing in you too is the melodic content. And I remember reading about Haggard one time. He said, "Never forget your melody is half your ammunition."
Yeah. Well, yeah.
When we just played Born for You, there was right there in it, kabam, I love that. Love that. Speaking of Barry Manilow, I'm part of a group called Sidemen of Note, and it's Art Garfunkel's guitar player, Tab Lavin, who's been with him 26 years now, and me with my long history with Glenn Campbell, and a guy named Eddie Kilgallen, better known as
our buddy Eddie.
Our buddy Eddie. I don't know if you knew that I knew that you knew. But
yeah, well, I think that's how we know each other best.
Okay. Well, I've heard your name
so.
in every single show. He always,
okay.
He talks about seeing you at an awards show, and you were at the same table together, and your paths crossed. And
yeah,
he's another New York guy. So
no. He's great. He's a great player, great writer. We just wrote 3 songs together.
Oh man, I hope they're all big hits.
And they're beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
And he's a good guy. I mean, he and I've been writing together. We met on the Kenny Chesney tour in 2003,
oh, cool.
And I was the new guy with Kenny Chesney, and he was the new guy with this group called Montgomery Gentry. And
wow.
He walked up to me in the hallway. He said, "Hey, I'm the new guy." I said, "So am I." He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm a writer." And he goes, "Oh, me too. What have you had?" And I said, "Well, I had a cut with George Strait." And he goes, "I had a cut with George Strait. We should write together." And we got started doing that, and we've been writing for 23 years now.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So, and are you making records now as well?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that.
I mean, as a singer? Yeah, please tell me.
Here's the story. Willie Nelson wrote Crazy and Hello Walls, huge songs back in the 60s, but could not get arrested as a recording artist. And one label did 9 albums in a row that were total flops. And it wasn't until 1975 that when he put out his album Red-Headed Stranger that he finally had commercial success. That was his 18th album.
Jeez, oh my God.
And I have songs from the Walnut Room, which is my 18th album. And I'm very hopeful.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's incredible.
Have tons of music out there. Tons of music. I think
are they all your songs on this one, or are you doing other people's songs?
No,
too?
I don't really. If I'm spending money on the record, and this is just the economics of it all, I've got to promote the guy that I came to the dance with, which was me.
There you go.
And,
the guy who wrote it.
Yeah, and so I'm counting on the fact that I'm doing my best, and I'm sailing it out there to the universe, and B, God's got a plan, and I'm just going to wait and see what He's got in mind.
That's good.
I'm loving it, and every once in a while something pops up. Hopefully, I'm learning something.
That's awesome.
Yeah, hopefully.
Jeez, that's good.
You play.
Well, you're really good. You're really good, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. I see. Looking at pictures of you, you play drums and guitar and keys.
Yeah.
All self-taught?
I play drums. Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, keys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned with chord symbols.
Yeah. Way to go. Well,
on lead sheets?
What's a typical day for David Pomeranz these days?
Jeepers. God, there's no such thing. Well, I'm writing songs for a new album. That's one of the things Eddie and I did a couple of things for.
Oh.
So that's daunting, because we got. What I did and what I do is I book it and don't have all the material yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I drive myself nuts trying to get there. That's good.
Yeah. What's the session date? What's the cutoff?
Oh, I don't want to even say out loud.
Okay. Well, I've learned, and you probably more so than I, but I'm sure, but I've learned that never finalize the list until you walk in on the day of tracking, because I've had songs come to me where I'm asleep, trying to sleep, the day when and I play on all my sessions. It's just part of the joy of doing it. And I'm walking, I'm half awake, and a melody will come to me and a lyric will come to me, and I jump out of bed and I finish a song, and it makes its way onto the list for that day. So I trust what I write.
Amazing.
I write alone. I mean, I don't co-write much anymore. I love taking on, invites from other people, and I have written with other people, and I continue to. But the focus of what I'm doing for my records is the songs I write. And I've learned that I can get it done. And I'm really kind of a see the lane, drive the hoop, score a bucket kind of guy. I don't ponder. I don't sit and go, well, maybe we can, and I don't know if I like that word,
When you just do it and say spit it out or sing it out or Do you go back and you don't go back and edit at all?
Oh, no, I do. I definitely do. Yeah. I live with it. I comb it, as my first publisher, Regar, used to say. I
comb it.
Yeah, I mean, I live with it. Sometimes a great song is a tea bag that's been steeping in my mind for a while, and I've got a title. Yes, Live My Truth. You mentioned that before we went on to the interview here. That I was going to write a song called "Live Your Truth," and I thought, no, that's too preachy, And I wanted getting inside the song makes it much more acceptable to people because I'm talking about what I've learned. I've got a song called "Where I've Been," where I've been, and what I've learned is to be yourself until it's your turn, and that's from an old song called "Twang On." Anyway, I want the song to be the best it can be, and I'll go back and tweak the vocal on it and stuff to fit a better lyric in there. But generally, my gut leads me pretty well these days, and I've learned not to try to rhyme words that don't rhyme, like duck and foot. I tried that back in the 80s.
Oh, good for you. Thank God for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Jimmy Webb was well known for perfect rhymes, but I'm okay with approximate rhymes. I paint pictures of the stories of life and match them up with approximate rhymes. That's from another song of mine. If we can say things in brand new ways, that's the goal for me. And when I'm writing, I'm searching for something that everybody hasn't already said. And I heard a guy on a radio thing recently, and he was singing, "Oh baby, you drive me crazy. Can't wait to get there. Light that candle because you're too hot to handle." And all the things we don't do anymore because it's been done.
Sure.
It was great the first time, first 100 times, but. I try to go for the freshness, where people are going to go, God, nobody's ever said it that way. I like that.
Yeah.
That must inspire you when you're sitting down, you're working on the new record and you're sitting there, you got the yellow pad, or are you a laptop guy?
Yellow pad.
All right. Pencil and paper, baby. The magic
Number
pencil.
2 pencil and yellow pads.
You're my man.
Well, because I can't. I mean, if when I'm into it and when I've done enough of it, I put it on the laptop, and so I can read it while I play it. But because I can't always read my scratchings, but there got to be scratchings. I mean, you scratch. The thing is on. It's in the margins. It's upside down. It's like, oh yeah, but I want to make sure that I see that. So you got to put it up on top and circle it. Or if something doesn't go well, you put a line through it. You can't do that on.
Yeah, that's
laptop.
That's beautiful. I write with a guy named Jason Carson. He used to be on the Mouse Club with Kerry Russell and Justin Timberlake and all that cast.
Oh, cool.
And when we're writing together, he said if it's a good one, we make it a writer downer, and if it's really good, it's a typer upper.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, we gotta keep it light because we're in a business that would drive us crazy if we didn't have some people to keep us sane around us. You ever get that where you're just like up there on the ceiling and your claws are out and you're going, and somebody's got to talk you down?
Well, yeah, I guess I know what you mean. I mean, obviously having somebody there is a different experience than doing it on your own, right? I mean, if you do a lot, you do both. It depends who it is. I really like Eddie's particularly good because he's a sharp lyricist too.
Yes.
So he'll sit there and I'll go rackadacka, and I'll go, I would never have thought that. That's really good. And that's always fun.
We got a show tomorrow. I'm going to ask him about Rackadacka.
Rackadacka. Yeah, tell him
I like it. I like it a lot. Well, that is cool. Have you got any dreams that haven't come true yet? Is there anything that you're just like reaching for the stars for? Well,
I want to. Recently, I feel like I've been kind of rehabilitated on the subject of songwriting. I spent a lot of time on the road and singing the songs that I'm known for or that I like or whatever that are on the albums and such. And I've kind of I was getting a little not with it, And I know some really big stars who go through the same thing. Again, I won't say who, but who've said publicly, I can't write anymore. I just can't. And I was kind of inching in that direction. And then when this album came along, and I decided to do this album, I thought I had to get in. I had to, break the circuitry, break the back of the thing that solidified. It's like a solidification thing that goes on. It's horrible. It's like aging, right? Yeah. You gotta stretch, you gotta bend, you gotta walk, you gotta, and it's similar. Anyway, I was finding that as I'm forcing myself to write again, I'm starting to get it with the swing of it. Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? I can do this,
Yeah, it's sort of, you got to get the engine started, and sometimes it's a little stiff because it hasn't really been doing it. And the other thing is that I don't worry. I trust. But what I think about sometimes, the phrase comes to mind that, I've said everything I have to say. Well, that's not true. And my mom, my mom said to me, growth is preceded by new information. And so a new influence, if I go catch a band somewhere, like at 3rd and Lindsley here in Nashville, and I just go, oh man, and I heard some Kev Moe a few weeks ago. I'm like, oh man, I want something like that, and all of a sudden I've got this 4 on the floor blues band thing going on that will be on my next project whenever I can save up enough money to do another project. And inspiration keeps me motivated, and I think that's what you're talking about. You've got this album project coming up, and Well, let's get time for one more because I don't want to talk the whole time. And this is our guest, David Pomeranz.
Oh wow, this is too much fun.
Oh, this is a blast. We could go 3 hours, but we don't have listeners that have that kind of attention span.
That's funny. Okay.
My friend Russ Paul, he says some people have the attention span of a chicken. So.
It's in every
there it is.
one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. And it's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us to be wise. Find your heart, open up both your eyes. We can all know everything without ever knowing why. It's in every one of us by and by. It's in every one of us.
I'm spellbound, David. That is just beautiful, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, that's fantastic. Let me ask you this, and then we'll let you go because I know you're a man of much going on. What would you tell 19-year-old David Pomeranz that you've learned today that would help him back then?
Whoa. I would say respect others' viewpoints a little more. And don't be so... It's one thing to be certain of myself, which I was and still kind of am in some ways. It's got to be that way. But there are people who want to help you, who can help you if you listen to them. And that I would say just grant more beingness, grant more greatness to other people and what they have to say, and listen and learn and consider what they have to say. Don't always be so gunshot. No, it's that. I was way like that. So that comes to mind. I'm sure there are other things. My God, there are lots of other things that I would teach myself back then. But that's the other thing. And the other thing is also, I always tend, because I love music so much and so many kinds of music, I would go off and I'd write a musical. And then I'd go off and I'd write a blah, blah. I'd do a this and a that, which is fine. I'm not one that fights being pegged on something, because as you know, plenty of people will tell you to go peg yourself. You can't write for Broadway because you're a pop guy, or you can't write pop because you're a Broadway guy. Don't do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All that nonsense. It's nonsense, right? Because music's music. But at the same time, I would probably have focused on something a little longer and stayed with it a little longer instead of going to the right or to the left. Hey, you know what I do? I'll do this. Wow. And I do that and flying around. So that would, in retrospect, I would probably say just follow it through, keep going, and then add in, but don't drop it and go to something else.
Oh, man.
So that's another one.
That's beautiful. I love that. Grant more beingness. That was what I pulled out of that. That is exceptionally literate. I love that. Glenn Campbell used to say, Jeff, you have trouble making up your mind? Well, yes and no.
Well, I love that. Well, grant more beingness is, I can't take credit for that one either, because there's a guy called L. Ron Hubbard who's cool and wrote this thing called Dianetics, Scientology, and all this. An amazing guy, amazing stuff. And he talks about that subject, which I love, because people, everyone's deep. Everybody's deep. Everybody's got a full Technicolor all the way, all in life, and it's long. Boy, when you think about that, not only deserves respect, but it's like, for me, it's like elicits awe. I go, oh my God, here's that guy. He's sweeping the streets over there, and he, just like me, has had a whole track of experience, deep experience, family experience, joys, tragedies. I mean, right? So the granting of beingness idea is a beautiful thing. It's like, oh my God, yes, sir, enormous one.
That's fantastic.
Wow,
Well,
yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah.
I love that, and thank you for adding that philosophical note to wrap us up today. And students, there will be a test on Friday. The syllabus is available online, and you get your books for free now, because they're all you can't sell a book, and we know that. But please invest in number 2 pencils and good, wide-ruled spirals with a good firm back on them, because I don't like the floppy ones that you buy for a dime at Target. Of course, nothing's a dime at Target anymore, And I have a lady in Minnesota who hand paints the covers of my songbooks for me. And I have a collection. I think I have about 15 of her covers. And I keep those spirals because that is that's the timeline of me writing songs. And I don't tear them out.
That's incredible.
Yeah. I can't help it. I'm just, I love being me, and I love the fact that, I have an opportunity to be here. This is my little brother's birthday, would have been, and we lost him 8 or 9 years ago now. And the fact that I get to get up today is not lost on me, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the opportunity to tell my kids I love them. And, about 80% of the time they'll tell me they love me too. And, it's just the way it is. And then I have a gig, and I'm sorry going off on me, but my gig today is to do one thing for one person that makes one little difference in that one day. And so if I can do that, whether it's a song or a kindness or letting people in traffic or letting the lady ahead of me in the grocery store, it doesn't matter. If kindness is free. And so I'm just going to go out there and do what I do and, let God figure out the result,
That's the way, boy. That's right. That's what we're supposed to do.
David Pomeranz, thanks for being on Count It Off with me today. And all of us out here are thanking you for your letting us the gift of being that we get to be.
Well,
We get to shine in the light of your experience, strength, and hope. And so thanks for that. All you got to do now to wrap it up, we have Magic Marcia and my friend David Sandler, who was a contemporary of the Beach Boys, and he wrote with Brian Wilson and actually produced with him back in the day. So David's voice is in there, and Marcia, and all you got to do now, David, is say bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Hey, baby.
Thanks for joining us,
funny.
and we hope you enjoyed this show. We invite you to check out all the other episodes and share this channel with all of your friends. Until next time, peace.